it's Taylor, and welcome to Scoring Secrets. Now, as we all know, there's several factors that really make up the best scorers in the world, and this package is meant to really teach you each of those factors in detail so that you can develop them in your game and score 25, 30 points per game if you choose to. But it's no secret that this is a big package. There's a ton of information inside. There's multiple DVDs and audios and all kinds of stuff to go through, so it can get overwhelming at times, and I understand that. So we put this video together right at the start to kind of outline the entire system, all right? And the entire system is broken down into 9 factors that you have to master within your game. Five of them are skills, 4 of them are concepts, but you have to know all of them, you have to develop all of them to become a really multi-dimensional scorer. Now, it would get overwhelming if we just went through all of them one by one and didn't outline everything. So this video is meant to outline the entire system. We're going to go through each factor quickly, briefly, straight to the point, and we're going to teach the basic concept to you. In the next coming videos, we're going to get down deep and teach you the moves, the tricks, the angles, and how to use each skill. But for now, I want to paint the full picture so that you can kind of conceptualize it in your mind. That usually helps me learn, and I think it'll help you too. So let's jump right in. 5 of them are skills, 4 of them are factors. We'll outline all of them right here. You might know the skills already, but you might not know the 4 factors. So let's jump right into the presentation. I'm excited to get right into Scoring Secrets. It's going to transform your game, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so welcome to Scoring Secrets of the Pros, and this video is all about the 9 laws of the natural scorer. Now, I say the 9 laws of the natural scorer because these are kind of the overarching ideas that we need to focus on throughout this entire series, okay? And these 9 concepts basically create the natural scorers that you see today, like Kobe, Carmelo Anthony, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Brandon Roy, players like that. And those are the types of players, the natural instinctive scorers that we're looking to be, okay? So this video is all about kind of painting a picture of what we're going to go over in the following videos, and they're also going to cover some concepts that you need to think about while you're watching those videos. So it's very, very important to pay close attention and kind of memorize these concepts, commit them to memory so that you can remember them while we go through the rest of the material. Now, I was sent this article, okay? It was in the New York Times. It's all about Kobe Bryant and his scoring ability, and specifically his footwork, but also the way he kind of instinctively scores. I was sent this article the other day by a player of mine, a player in our community actually, and it said that Bryant senses when the defense is vulnerable. All right, and Kobe said, it depends on what he's doing and what I feel. I just react instinctively, and that's the key word, instinctive. We're looking for instinctive scoring where you know the exact reactions at the right time to react to your defender and instinctively move in a way that's going to score you the most points, all right? And that's what we're going to explain how to do. Now, this is the big question, right? How can we develop correct instincts to react the correct way in the correct situation? And that's what we're going to provide you with throughout this entire program. You're going to know exactly the steps that you need to take in every single situation, no matter where you find yourself on the mid-range, perimeter, finishing around the rim without the ball. You're going to know exactly how to react to specific moves that the defender makes. So, and the way that we do this again, right, is the 9 core techniques that every great scorer has mastered. And when you master all of these, you're going to have those correct reactions and those step-by-step processes. So let's kind of overview what these 9 core concepts are. And there's 5 skills that you need to learn, okay, and 4 concepts to remember. So the first skill is defender control. All right, the second one is perimeter play. The third one is mid-range game. The fourth one is how you finish strong around the rim. The fifth one is scoring without the ball. All right, and we'll dig into these more in depth later on in this video. But for now, I just want to overview all of them. So those are the 5 skills. All right, the 4 concepts are first the kill zone. Second are bunches or scoring in bunches. The third one is diversification versus riding. And the fourth one is knowing your defender, knowing the other team's defense, okay? These are the 9 concepts. When you put them all together, you are going to become, obviously, a very, very gifted natural scorer. So here are the 5 critical skills. Again, these are what we're going to cover first, and next we'll get into those concepts. So the 5 critical skills, again, are defender control, perimeter play, mid-range game, finishing, and scoring without the ball. So let's first talk about defender control. What is defender control? Well, it's basically how you react, react to, and control your defender's movement. So you're going to basically learn how to, first of all, make your defender move the way you want them to, read the way that they reacted to you, and then react to them. And you can basically, when you control your defender's movement, when you play them like a puppet, when you really work the defense, you are the master over them, right? You keep control of the flow of the game. You know exactly where you can make them go, and then you just react to it, right? So you know exactly where you're going to make them go. You know how you're going to react, and that creates a lot of open shots. So you have to develop those ideal reactions to each movement that they'll make. So it's a matter of knowing how to make them move, first of all. Second, you know how they're going to move. So if you make a certain move, let's say a jab step, you know which way they're going to lean back. And then you know what you're going to do when they lean. All right, so put those 3 things together. You have full-on defender control, full control over any defender that you play against, and you'll be able to really work them for a lot of points on the offensive end. So this is basically keeping control of the flow of the game. And I want to touch on one last point here. An offensive game between you and your defender is basically like a tug of war, okay? It's a tug of war of control. They are going to make you, they're going to take you for a ride, right? If they feel that they can control you, they can push you around, they can crowd you and make you back up, or turn your back to the basket or whatever. If they feel that they can bully you on the floor, you're always looking to keep control of the flow of the game. It has to be in your hands. You think Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan got bullied by any defenders? No. They definitely did not. They bully defenders, all right? They control the defense. So that's what we're looking to do. It's called defender control. And again, you know, we have a full DVD in this series. We have the full concept mapped out for you, and that's what we're going to be talking about, and that's what you're going to learn. So next is perimeter play, all right? And this is basically how to master the perimeter game for guards, wings, even athletic big men. This is really, really critical. And it's basically how you use your moves, how you use angles and little tricks that kind of work against defenders on the perimeter. We're going to talk about how to beat anybody off the dribble. It's a really, really simple sequence that you can use. It works pretty much every time. And if you are going to beat somebody off the dribble, this is the sequence that you have to use. We're going to talk about how to create space on the perimeter. And again, the moves, the angles, the tricks, and how to really use them to work the defense. So there's a full video on this. We'll get into it in a lot of detail right now. We're overviewing everything so that you can conceptualize everything, how you're going to put all the pieces of the puzzle together in your game and really become a dangerous scorer. So the second concept is perimeter play. We're becoming masters at the perimeter game. The third one is mid-range game. And again, this is very, very critical. One coach of mine once told me that I was going to score all my points in the mid-range game once I moved up to the varsity level, right? Once I became, a junior and senior in high school, I actually played a year up. So when I was a sophomore, but in any case, my coach told me that all my points were going to come from the mid-range game. Now, that wasn't quite accurate, but a lot of my points came from the mid-range game, and you have to learn how to use your mid-range game to really score a ton of points and become a multifaceted scoring threat. So we need to learn how to create space off one and two dribbles, how to pull up, step back. We need to learn how to use kill dribbles, how to knock down mid-range jumpers when we're still under pressure from the defense, which is important. So mid-range game is the third piece of the puzzle. The next one is finishing strong around the rim. Again, if we can beat people on the perimeter, if we can use our perimeter game, our mid-range game will open this up, right? If they're worried about your mid-range game, you're going to be able to take it all the way to the hole a lot of the time, and you're going to have to learn how to create and take contact. You're going to have to learn how to finish after contact, how to protect the ball, how to increase your hang time and get more and one. You're going to have to learn how to do all these things, and that's what we're going to teach you in this series, how to basically put all these pieces of the puzzle together. The last one, again, is scoring without the ball. And I always, always, always tell players, if you can learn how to score without the ball, if you can recognize scoring opportunities, if you can use efficient cuts and use screens effectively, you can easily score an extra basket every single quarter. All right, at least one extra basket every single quarter just by recognizing the opportunities. And this adds up, to 6 to 8 extra points every single game or more. All right, so imagine what 6 to 8 extra points every game would do for you. If you're averaging, 10 or 12 right now, if you're averaging 14, you could break that 20-point barrier. There's a big difference between a 10-point per game player and a 20-point per game player, and scoring without the ball is it. All right, so we're going to teach you how to do that as well in this series. There's a whole DVD covering scoring without the ball, and that's where we're going to tell you exactly what you need to do to score without the ball, to recognize the appropriate scoring opportunities, how to make efficient cuts, and using screens effectively, and everything like that. So that is the 5th skill that you have to learn. So we have basically the total package now, right? We know how to control and react to our defender. We have, if they take away any one area, we can always go to a next, like plan B, right? So for example, if you're playing on the perimeter and you beat them off the dribble a bunch of times and they try to take away your drive, you still have your mid-range game, you still have your shooting ability. And again, if they take your shooting and your mid-range game away, you can just beat them all the way to the basket and finish strong. And if they try to play you tough, if you're a wing player or a guard or whatever, and you're without the ball, if they try to play you tough because you've been scoring on them all game, now all you have to do is recognize the opportunities, use efficient cuts, which we're going to teach you, and you will easily score on any defender. All right, you're going to be able to score with the ball, without the ball, on the perimeter, in the mid-range, around the basket. You're literally going to be unguardable when you put all these pieces of the puzzle together, okay? That's what we're going to be showing you in this series. But having said that, there's still those 4 concepts that every great scorer has. All right, and throughout the series of videos, I'd like you to kind of commit these to memory, okay? Because these are going to determine how well you really score, all right? And the 4 concepts are the kill zone, bunches, diversification versus riding, and knowing the defense. These are kind of your scoring strategies, all right? So we went over the skills, what you have to develop and know how to do. Now we've got the strategy behind it to really make it work. So first is the kill zone. This is the space on the floor where you can create the most options for your team. And you see this little red box, all right, in the upper part of the key. This is the space where you can create the most options for your team because, first of all, you can pull up, you can dump pass to the big man, you can finish at the rim if you go all the way into the basket. You can, if you get cut off, you can skip pass out to the 3 and pick up an assist and an easy 3 points for your team. You can do all these things when you get into this space. So when you're out on the floor, when you're playing, when you're on the perimeter, when you're using your mid-range game, try to get into this space, all right? No, of course, don't force it, all right? A lot of the time, this space will be clogged up because good defensive teams will try to shut down that area and they'll have good help defense. But there's a reason for that, all right? Why do you think all of your coaches try to tell you to force the defense to the corner or to the baseline? Because they don't want you in that kill zone. All right. So as scorers, as natural scorers, your job is to get into that kill zone. And you need to recognize every time that, a defensive rotation's off, if they're a little bit behind, you need to recognize that and make them pay for it. All right. Kill them for it. So if they're opening this middle of the floor up, it's your duty as a scorer to get into that space and create options for your team. All right, this is the space in the floor where you can create the most options, where you can score the most points, and I want you to be aware of that as you're playing and as you're putting these methods to work in your game. All right, so the next kind of concept, the next key concept that we need to talk about is scoring in bunches, and this is how to, rapidly score a lot in a short period of time. Now, the best scorers in the world, you've probably seen this if you've been watching, a lot of game tape and things like I have. You'll see that the best scorers in the world always look to score at certain periods of time in the game, and they score a lot of points
you know, they can go off for 15, 20 in a quarter if they feel like it. They score a lot in a short period of time. This is called scoring in bunches. And I was first introduced to this concept when I read an article about OJ Mayo talking about how he didn't really score necessarily consistently throughout the game, although he'd pick up points here and there, but his big scoring bursts where he'd make the, you know, his most bang for his buck would be in these little bunches where he'd just go off for like 3, 4, 5, 6 plays in a row and just score a ton of points. And there's a reason that the best scorers in the world do this. Okay, first of all, it leaves time for you to distribute the ball throughout your teammates, obviously. So if you're just going at it all game, trying to score all game long, you're not really leaving any time to distribute the ball to get your teammates involved, and that's going to create problems. All right, so if you can just rapidly score a lot in a short time period, it's going to kind of erase that problem for good. It's going to, first of all, allow you to create a lot of authority because everyone on the court is going to know that you're capable of just going off whenever you feel like it. That creates a lot of authority, kind of celebrity throughout your team and throughout your teammates with your coaches. You become the go-to guy, and you control the flow of the game yourself. So remember, we always talk about defender control. You get to control the flow of the game if you score in bunches, if you become a scorer who can score in bunches. All right, and again, like I said, the defense is going to be reacting to you all game. All right, if you're going at them all game, they're always going to be ready for you. But if you can dial it back, distribute the ball for a little bit, and then go hard at them for a little bit, and then distribute the ball a little bit, then go hard at them, you're always going to keep them on their heels, not really knowing what you're going to do next. So you always want to control the flow of the game yourself and score in bunches. Now, this is the key, all right? This last one. Look to get yourself on a roll and then know when to back off. All right, look to get yourself on a roll and know when to back off. So a few signs that you can look for to get yourself on a roll is, you know, when you have a mismatch, when maybe a really good defender subs off and they sub a not so good defender onto you, or, you know, little things like that. If you've hit a couple shots and you're feeling good, just little things like that when you're feeling more confident, you need to recognize those times and recognize, you know, when your team needs points, and then go after it. Get yourself on a roll and really crush it for a few plays in a row. Pick up, you know, 10, 12 points all at once, and then know when to back off, when to distribute the ball. You got a healthy lead. You've really demoralized the other team. Now you back off for a little bit. You keep them on their heels. You know, they don't really know. They don't really know what's coming next, and that keeps them scared, and that keeps you in control of the game. All right, so that's a key concept. Know when to get yourself on a roll, and then know when to back off. Now, I want to talk about the last one, diversification versus riding, and you have to understand this as a great player. And you'll notice if you watch a lot of the best players, the best scorers of all time, like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, these guys know some games, you know, they go out and they just hit a ton of threes, right? We've all seen that one game where Jordan played against the Portland Trail Blazers and he just hit like 6 threes in the first half or something. All of that is strategic. All right, so they know exactly when they're going to use a certain scoring method, and they know when they're going to use a whole bunch of scoring methods. So diversification is when you use a whole bunch, multiple scoring methods, modalities against one defender. You might shoot, you drive, you make backdoor cuts, use your mid-range game, go all the way to the rim and finish. All these different methods, you use all of them against that one defender, because and ideally this is against very good defenders, right? Because the tougher the defender is, the more they're gonna kind of crack down on each one of those methods. So you got to diversify. You got to use everything that you got against a really, really good defender, because if you're only one-dimensional, they're gonna take that away and just crush you. Now, on the flip side, you got to know when to ride one method of scoring, you know, shooting all game or driving all game against one defender. And this is ideal against a mismatch. All right. So if a player is, if you have a mismatch in any way, if a player is a lot shorter than you, you know, you can shoot over top of them all game. If they're slower than you can take them to the hoop all game. You have to recognize that and know when to just go to work on one method. All right. So there's 2 games that come to mind. If you can get game footage of the these two games, you're going to get a way, way better concept of exactly what this means. And both of them are Michael Jordan games. So the first one is, I believe, game one against the Portland Trailblazers in the NBA Finals when the Bulls played the Portland Trailblazers, and Jordan went off for like 6 threes in the first half. All right, that's a pure example of just riding one method of scoring, because he just shot the whole time. He hit a ton of threes. They were not cracking down on him, and he just rode that kind of momentum throughout the entire first half. And by the half, the Bulls were so far ahead that Blazers couldn't catch up. So take a look at that game. Jordan just shot all game long, shot the lights out, and made them pay for mismatching him. Now the next one is when the Bulls played the Phoenix Suns. All right, and during this series, Jordan really just attacked the basket all game long, relentlessly, and it's because he had a mismatch and he could take it to the hoop all game long and really dominate. All right, so he really rode that method of driving all game long, or shooting all game long in those two games. Now, diversification is when, of course, you have to use a whole bunch of different scoring methods. So you have to know ahead of time, right, who the defender is going to be and what method of scoring you'll be looking to use. Who's going to match up with you? What's the other team like? How's their help defense? Know these things. Ask your coach. Do your own scouting. Don't rely on your coach, to do this for you, because you'll be able to see things that they won't. But in any case, know ahead of time everything about the team that you possibly can, so that you know what method of scoring that you'll be looking to use. Are you going to diversify? Are you going to ride one method? Or, you know best. All right, know what you're going to do going into the game. Now, last, again, this kind of leads into this next segment, which is knowing the defense. All right, know your defender. I can't say this strongly enough. Know exactly who your defender is. How tall are they? How quick? Can they jump? What's their defense like? What do they think of you? Have you played before? Will they be ready for what you did last time? Did you just light them up and shoot all game? Or, did they crack down on you? Did you get shut down? You have to know exactly what they're expecting of you so that you can do the opposite. Right? Every time you can retain control and throw them off, you're going to have the advantage. So again, know your defender. I can't say this strongly enough. So again, this is kind of the smart offense concept. All right, all these things put together. First, great scorers get in the kill zone every single time it's left open. They score in bunches. They score, watch Kobe and Michael Jordan, for example. They always score in little bunches during the game. They know when to back off. They know when to push forward. They always score in bunches. They know their defender. You have to know your defender very, very well inside and out, so that you can exploit them, exploit their weaknesses, and really score a ton of points. You also need to know, again, whether you're going to diversify or you're going to ride one method of scoring all game long. And the key is, with this diversify or ride, don't just kind of assume and then go in and get stuck to one method. All right, you will have to at some point adjust. The defense is going to adjust. Basketball is a chaotic game. You have to be ready for it, but go into the game ready for that. Know the defense inside and out. Know what you're going to lead with, and you're going to do really, really, really well. So I just want to overview again the 9 laws of the natural scorer. These are going to be the overarching ideas throughout this entire program. All right, the entire Scoring Secrets program is built on the 9 laws of the natural scorer. So we have defender control, how you can control your defender, react to their movements, and kind of react to the way that they move on the floor. You can play them like a puppet. All right. The next one is perimeter play, how well you beat people off the dribble, create space, and really go to work on the perimeter. The next one is your mid-range game. Okay, how well do you pull up, pull back, use your kill dribble, get in 15 to 18 foot area and knock down jump shots? How well do you use the mid-range game? The next one is finishing strong around the rim, taking contact, using that contact, finishing strong, getting and ones, and really putting up points by going to the basket and attacking the defense. The next one is scoring without the ball. And this is what all the natural scorers have in common. You can pick up 6, 8, 10 extra points every single game, which is vital if you're going to be a big-time scorer. You have to know how to move without the ball, how to score without the ball, how to recognize scoring opportunities, and really, really put these to work in your game. The next one and the next four, actually, the key concepts that you got to remember always are the kill zone, that kind of area of space in the upper key where you can really create a ton of opportunities for you and for your team. Scoring in bunches, knowing when to hold back and knowing when to charge forward. Diversifying or riding, one method or many methods, and knowing the defense, what's going to work best against the defender that you are going up against. So this is what we got to do next, right? We got to go through the rest of the program to really get the key reactions down. And like I said, this is kind of an overview. We wanted to paint a picture of all these scoring secrets of the pros so that you knew exactly this is what makes up a professional scorer, a great scorer on the court. And this is what you got to do to really become a great scorer. So now it's time to go through the rest of the program. The next segment you're going to want to go through is defender control, because that lays the foundation for everything else. You're going to learn really how to make the defense look absolutely silly. So again, I'm glad you went through this entire video. I'm glad that now you finally know kind of the scoring secrets of the pros that all great scorers have in common. You know all the critical ideas and concepts that you need to know to become a great scorer. Now it's time to put them to work in your game. All right, so go into that Defender Control DVD, take a look at it, put the concepts to work in your game, and I will see you there.